And where you're joining us from today. My name is Andrew Ellis. I'm with Rok Automation and one of the presenters at our ROKLive event this year. Joining me is Sara Poehnelt, who leads our software subscription team. Hey, Sara, how's it going? Have you been totally energized with this event?
Absolutely. Who knew a virtual event could be so engaging?
I agree. If you're just joining us, we're discussing some of the great sessions going on right now in the ROKLive virtual event. It has been great to see so many people join us this year, virtually, of course, and really help us inaugurate this new and exciting avenue for ROKLive.
I couldn't agree with you more, Andrew. With the COVID-19 pandemic impacting our in-person events, I was thrilled to learn that we would be still holding this great event, but in a totally new way.
That's right. Just because we're virtual this year doesn't mean we've cut back on content. In fact, we have some pretty amazing sessions and labs this year. There's no better time like now to dive in and really learn something new.
Yes, and having both attended and presented at the Tech Ed events in the past, I certainly have my favorites, but I do have my eye on some of those new topics. So, Andrew, what sessions have you been most excited about?
Glad you asked. I wanted to tell you about some of the great things we are sharing with respect to, really the consideration customers are having to make when architecting machine learning solutions. I had the opportunity to present with Mike Tay, who's one of our analytics product managers, and we covered things like, the basics of machine learning, some of the products in our innovation suite, but mainly some of the key questions our customers need to ask really prior to implementing machine learning solutions. So like, it's about your people. Do you have automation engineers, citizen data scientists, or data scientists? Depending on the skill set of your subject matter experts will really determine the types of tools you use to implement your solutions. Next is time horizon of your solution. This is really meaning about, are you trying to generate predictions quickly, like in milliseconds, or will running them once a day suffice? You also need to consider, data, the data you have available at the location you plan to execute the calculation. The data available at the machine is very different from the data available at the enterprise. And finally, what compute surface do you have to actually develop and operationalize your machine learning models? At the machine, you may only have a few CPUs, whereas the enterprise, it is far more scalable. I do look forward to some of the conversations that will spur as a result of this being a virtual event. What about yourself, Sara?
That is some great stuff, Andrew. Similarly, when we think about the value these advancements can provide, one area that comes to mind is the future of our software that I share in our Future of Software Purchase and Maintenance session. Over the past several years, I'm sure we've all seen the shift in the commercial software space to subscription and SaaS or cloud-based offerings. Well, that shift didn't stop there. This is also happening in the industrial software space. Customers want software options that can help them be more flexible and agile. If you think about the rapid transition some companies had to make to adjust to the demands of the COVID-19 pandemic, flexibility is imperative. As a company, we recognize this is critical need for our customers, not just in the present time, but in all time. So we have continued to introduce more subscription-based software options across our portfolio. What I like to highlight in my session is just how our software subscription offerings can provide that critical customer value through the ability to scale and flex a subscription to meet a customer's specific needs. Think just the right amount at just the right time. We all know that accelerating a return on investment is ideal. Subscription-based software helps a company do just that by shifting the cost model from a heavy CapEx software investment to a lower upfront operating expense. Also, customers get better cash flow predictability with a subscription because in a subscription model, they already know what their expenses will be. This shift is truly an evolution, and it's an exciting time to be along on the journey.
I totally agree, and thanks for sharing, Sara. That is indeed, I think, the way of the future for software purchasing. And speaking of journeys, the other session I presented covered how OT context can make a significant difference as part of a customer's digital transformation journey. The key takeaway from that session was that adding context is not new. We've been doing this for many years, but we typically do it high up in the technology stack in the MES and ERP layers. This is where really OT meets IT. But if we can start to add context in the controller, and leverage that core context as the basis of our digital thread, in particular from the production side, our customers can really benefit. Take a wrapper machine, for example. If I can build context or think of it as a model within the controller, we get a number of benefits. For example, we can reuse all of the engineering that went into the model, which was developed by the machine experts. This time savings alone is huge. At additional layers like historian at the HMI or MES, we can consume that context, adorn it with additional data, only available at that layer in the tech stack, and really pass it on to the next consumer, whether that's upstream or downstream. At the IoT layer, in our case, ThingWorx, we can also consume that context directly from the controller and use it quickly to develop mashups and analytics without having to re-engineer, the wrapper machine itself. And this just really snowballs as each system consumes the context, adds more information. The value of that digital thread increases for our customers. As you can tell, I'm a little pumped to talk about this topic and feel we have a real differentiator for our customers.
Yeah, Andrew, I completely agree. I always pick up some great information and knowledge in these sessions. Well, enough about what we think. Hey, audience, tell us in the comments what session you enjoyed the most.
Yeah, and I'll add, and don't forget, make sure you complete the session surveys for each of the sessions you attend. We would love to hear from you.
Wow, there are so many great sessions. I want to make sure I don't miss any.
Well, the best part is you don't have to, and neither do you, those of you listening. Many sessions will be on demand through November. So if you missed a session that you really wanted to join, it's not too late. There's still time to register and gain access to all of the recorded sessions on demand.
Well, thanks, Andrew. So on behalf of Andrew and I want to thank everyone for joining us today and hope you enjoy the rest of the event.
Sarah, I'm going to get back to watching some of these sessions. There's some really cool stuff out there. Talk to you later.
All right, take care.
Excellent.
All right.
And let me just figure out how to stop the recording. Stop recording. Look at that.